Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. You have almost made it all the way to Thanksgiving break. Oh, my goodness. You work hard today, and we will give you 9 days off. How cool is that? Cool. Wait a minute. I'm not going to get any math. Well, we will set you up with some extra credit if you want to do it. You can always do the con. You can always practice your facts, but I will also have some other things coming your way. Your teachers should. And stuff to play with, something to work on. Again, I think, and this is one of the reasons I like math so much, because I like puzzles. Okay, every math problem is a puzzle you want to solve, right? I want to know who did it in those movies, right? In the mystery movies, who did it, right? I want to solve the problem. I want to figure it out. It's fun. It's fun to solve that puzzle. Putting that last piece into a puzzle, oh, everybody fights for it, right? Yeah, fun stuff, and that's what I like about math. Right, I do Sudoku, crossword puzzles, that kind of stuff. Fun stuff to do. And if you look at it that way, you'll have a lot more fun with math. Okay, sometimes you need some tools to solve things, and that's when you see your math teacher and say, hey, how do I solve this, right? Anyway, you know the drill. Copy it down. Press pause. Go to it. All right, come back. I will show you how to do things. And if you don't know how to do something, when I get to that spot where I show you, press pause, then go try it. And then press play again to check your answers. Okay? I'll see you in a little bit. And he's back. 42 and 13, most popular diamond ever. Whoops, I'm not. There it is. I am. He had a product on top some. So that's 6 and 7. What do we have here? 256. That is a very cool number. 16 times 16 is 256. 16 plus 16 is 32. If you know me, if you have me, if you're stuck with me in math, that is going to get drilled right in your brain. You'll never get it out. You know what's in my brain? Chrysanthemum. When I was in 6th grade, we got in trouble. The teacher would say, that's it. Whoops. Chrysanthemum. You would have to say, okay, you got in trouble. That's it. You have 100 chrysanthemums, and you'd have to go write chrysanthemum 300 or 100 times. All right, 120. Sorry, that is a tangent, right? Sometimes your teachers go off on a tangent. You guys know why your math teachers do it more often? I'm going off a tangent to explain what a tangent is. How ironic is that? What is a tangent? It's actually a geometry term. And it's when your teacher, is talking about ancient Egyptians in social studies, and all of a sudden one of the kids asks a question and mentions that his brother's in the Navy or something. And the teacher says, oh, my son's in the Navy, and goes and talks about her son for 20 minutes. And all of a sudden she said, how did we get here? Well, that's going off on a tangent. Why is it called that? You guys, most of you know terms of a circle. That's called the center, and a line that goes through the center, both sides, is called a diameter. And from one side, or from the middle to one side only, is called a radius, right? And I don't know if you guys know this, but it goes through two parts of the circle without going through the middle. It's called a chord, right? So there's another chord. There's another chord, could be just from here to here, right? And if you're really, really, really careful, you can draw a line that only touches the circle at one point. It's really hard to do that. It doesn't, if it's going to touch it, it's so easy to make it touch 2 points. But if it only touches it in 1 point, that line is called a tangent. It is barely connected to that circle. Like my story about chrysanthemums is barely connected to this math, right? So now you know where that term comes, going off on a tangent. It's a language arts term, but it has to do with geometry. All right, here we go. The hard one for the diamonds was the decimal. What two numbers multiplied together equal 32 hundredths? But when you add, you get 1 and 2 tenths. Well, what two numbers multiplied together equal 32? What you add, you get 12. 4 and 8, right? So I'm thinking this is going to be a 4 and an 8, and if I go 0.4 and 0.8, when I go to add those, you line up the decimals when you stack them, right? Decimal comes straight down, and you end up with 1.2. When I multiply, I pretend like there's no decimal there and go 4 times 8 is 32, and then realize that I went over one spot to pretend that was a 4 and one spot to pretend that was an 8. That's a total of 2 spots. So I have to go back 2 spots in my answer, and that's how we got that. Okay? All right. Who remembers how you change a fraction to a decimal? It's easy. All you have to remember, divide the bottom into the top. Okay? Now, I said yesterday, use what you know, right? If I forget, does it go the bottom into the top or the top into the bottom? Well, if I divide 1 into 2, it goes 2. 1/2 doesn't equal 2. So it must be the bottom into the top, right? And you say, but it won't fit. Well, no, it'll never fit unless it's an improper fraction, right? The bottom number never fits into the top number unless the top number is bigger. If the top number is bigger, it's improper. Okay, so I divide the bottom to the top, so I have to add a decimal, and I add a decimal, bring it up, and add a 0, and then I go and get my 5/10. And I know 5/10 is the same as 1/2, and that is the same as 50%. Good to know that for the next set of problems. So I'm dividing the bottom into the top on these. If you didn't know that, press pause and go do these real quick, and then come back and see if you got the same answer. Okay? All right, so I'm adding a decimal and a 0, adding a decimal, bring it up, and 5 goes into 30 6 times, and 3/5 is the same as 6/10, and 6/10 is the same as 6/10. That makes sense, right? 3 times 2, 5 times 2. 3/8. Divide the bottom into the top. It won't fit. Add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 8 goes into 30. 3 times, because 3 times 8 is 24. I get a remainder, so I add a 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. I get a remainder, so I add another 0. Remember, I can add zeros after the decimal because 3 is the same as 3.0, is the same as 3.00, is the same as 3.000, and so on, right? 8 goes into 40 perfectly. So 3/8 is the same as 375 thousandths, right? All right, 7/14. Now, you can do 14 into 7, but 14s are tough. You may recognize this. I can simplify that. 7 is half of 14, so 7/14 equals 1/2, and 1/2 equals 0.5. Remember? Did it on the back. And that's one you'll start memorizing pretty quickly. 5/10 is the same as 1/2. Now, 11/25. 25, I'm dividing 25s. Oh my goodness. Just think money. Think quarters. Add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 25, 50, 75, 100. 125 is too much, so I'm going 100. I'm going 4. 4 times 25 is 100. I subtract, add a 0, bring it down. There's another 100, so I know it's another 4. 11/25 is the same as 44 hundredths. Okay? How'd you do? Okay, now, I didn't show you how to do this unless you were in my afternoon Zoom yesterday, but this is easy. All you have to do to change a percent to a decimal is, you ready? Move the decimal 2 spots that way. Move decimal 2 spots to the left. To the left, to the left. Everything you want is in the box to the left. All right, Beyonce fans. I think that's Beyonce. All right. So what do? If there is no decimal, it's on the right. So it was here. Move it 2 spots that way. Boom, boom. It's in front of the 4 now. That is 42 hundredths. That's all you do. Okay. If you did not know how to do that, and these are now blank, press pause and go do it. Okay? All right. Otherwise, I'm moving it 2 spots. That is 0.25. Move it 2 spots. 50% is the same as 0.5. That makes sense because that's a half, right? Right? 1/2 is 5/10 is 50%. Put those together, memorize it. All right? 8%. This is a tough one because when I move it 2 spots, I got this empty spot here. What do? I say fill in the egg carton. 8% is 0.08. It's 800. It's the most popular wrong answer for that. is people think it's 8/10. Okay, 8% is 8/100. 8/10 is 80%. See that? All right, 12.5%, move it 2 spots. 0.125. 125 thousandths, which is 1/8, which makes sense because that's half of 25%. 25% is 1/4, 1/4. Half of that is 1/8, right? All right, you didn't have to know that, but by a couple months, you'll just know that. You'll know that 12.5% is 1/8. It's half of a quarter. Okay. All right. So if changing a percent to a decimal, all you have to do is move 2 spots that way, what do you think you're going to have to do if you change a decimal to a percent? If you don't know, it's okay. But this is all you're going to do. You're going to move 2 spots the other way. Right? You're just moving it back. Move the decimal 2 spots, and this time it's to the right. Now, there will be times when you get confused and you'll say, do I move it to the right or do I move it to the left? And that's when I say, go with what you know. What do I know? I know that 1/2 is 5/10 is 50%. So if I have 50% and I think I move it 2 spots this way, I end up with 50 with 2 more zeros, and 50% is not 5,000, right? So then I say, oh, I must have to move it that way from go, right? If I'm going from decimal to percent and I move it this way and I say 5/10, I know it's supposed to be 50%. If I move it that way, I end up with 0.005. Oh, that can't be, right? Go with what you know. If you forget, go test it on one you know, and then you figure out, right? So it's one of those things. You can commit it to memory, and hopefully you will eventually, but until you have it stuck in your brain, you can always figure it out. Go with what you know. Go with what you know. You can figure things out when you forget sometimes, okay? All right, so all I'm doing is move it 2 spots to the right. If you did not know that, press pause and go do these, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to move that decimal 2 spots to the right. 62/100 is 62%. That's all you got to do, okay? Got a couple tricky ones in there, but go try them and then come back. 2 spots. When I move this 2 spots, I got to fill in the egg carton. 6/10 is 60%, not 6%, okay? 6% is a popular wrong answer, so you're not alone if you got it wrong, but make sure you move it 2 spots. And when you do this, you see that empty spot, you want to fill the egg carton. If you do everything in your head, it's easier to make mistakes, okay? We're not trying to get you to show your work because we want you to do extra work. We want you to learn it faster, okay? 1.21, 2 spots is 121%. That sounds weird, huh? Anytime a number is bigger than 1, your percent will be bigger than 100. Okay? All right. 0.044. Boom, boom. It's between the 4 and the 4. So it is 4.4%. Okay? People want to make it 44%. They don't want a decimal in their percent. Don't be afraid of a decimal in your percent. Okay? It's allowed. Just follow the rule. 2 spots. Okay? 2 spots on this one. Easy. That looks like 75 cents. It's 75%. It's 3/4. It's 75% of a dollar. Okay. All right. Make a number line and order. First off, I need to find out which one is farthest away from 0 on my number line in the positive direction. 12's bigger. 12 is the biggest going that way. Okay, so 12 is the biggest. I'm going to put a box around that just so I know. And which is the farthest away from 0 in the negative direction? Negative 16. That's a lot away from 0. Okay, -5, -2.5, -3. So -6. So I'm going to put -16 way out here. What's halfway there is going to be -8, right? Half of that's going to be -4. Half of that is -2, -3, -1, right? Okay. Halfway between 4 and 8 is -6, -7, -5, and then I'm going all the way to 12 here. If that's 16, 12 is not quite that far, so I'm going to say 12 is here. Half of that is 6. Half of that is 3. Halfway between 6 and 12 is 9. 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, 7, 8. All right, so we got a number line. That didn't take too long. Where's 8? Oh, it's at 8, right? Okay, -2. That's 2 spots to the left of 0. -16, way over here. 7. Easy enough. -5. Okay. 2. 2.5 is halfway between 2 and 3, right? -2.5. This is where most people want to put that -2.5. Okay? They want to put it on this side of that -2. Well, what's that between? That's between -2 and -1, huh? I want it between -2 and -3. This is where -2.5 is, okay? That is the tricky one and then the most popular wrong answer on this assignment, right? That's why I have that -3 in there, because I want you to make sure that you know your -2.5 is in between -2 and -3. All right? All right, everybody. Enjoy your turkey. I know I will. Have a good one.